that's so heavy. Oh, whew. Oh lordy. And I don't have space for these, like at all. Not even slightly. There's no space. Hello. I bought more books. Shocking, I know. I'm going to share them with you. I have, how many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books to share with you. No, 10 books to share with you. And let's get right into it. I'm firstly just going to very quickly show you Only a Monster by Vanessa Len. This one just came in my January fairy loot box, which was the last video that went up on my channel, so I won't spend a huge amount of time on this one, but look, beautiful sprayed edges, exclusive cover, and some additional customizations. So if you want to see those and you want to hear what the book is about, go on over to that video. I will link it for you. The rest of these I have purchased for myself, with the exception of 2 very exciting books which I will save for last. The first one was a charity shop find, which was very exciting. It's this copy of Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, which is in perfect condition. It looks like it has never even been read. There's a Oxfam bookshop near to my work, and I think there must be someone local who has pretty similar reading taste to me, who takes books in and looks after them very well. So yeah, you can barely even tell that this has been read, and I needed to pick, well, I didn't need to pick this one up, but I needed to add this one to my collection because I have Six of Crows, which I have read, but I didn't have Crooked Kingdom, which I have not. So now that I do, I can finish off that duology. Then we have Malice by John Gwynne. This is the first book in the Faithful and the Fallen series. Many of my friends have read and loved this. Some people have read it and not loved it. So we'll see how I get on. I managed to get the audio book of this in an Audible sale end of last year, but this is the kind of book that I like to have the option of immersion reading, so I decided to pick it up, and I will hopefully get a chance to read this in the relatively near future. What is this about? What is this about? I don't need to tell you what this is about. Everybody knows what that's about. This one, the Banished Lands have a violent past where armies of men and giants clashed in battle. An uneasy peace reigns, but now giants stir once more. The very stones weep blood, and there are sightings of gigantic worms. Those who can still read the signs see a prophecy realised. Sorrow will darken the world as angels and demons make it their battlefield. So it's grim, dark, epic fantasy, which makes me slightly nervous because I don't know how I'm going to feel about grim dark, but I want to give it a go. And then another one that I'm slightly not nervous or apprehensive about reading, but I'm unsure how I'm going to feel about it, is The Black Prism by Brent Weeks. So I've heard many people say that they found this incredibly sexist and didn't enjoy it, so I will have to see how I get on with that. That probably will hold true for me, and whether or not it puts me off the book will remain to be seen. But I just like the sound of the magic system in this, which is based on colours, and different colours give different abilities, and you only have access to the ability that is associated with your colour, but the Black Prism has access to all of the colours, but also, so it kind of gives me a little bit of a mix between Mistborn and Warbreaker in terms of magic system, but also the use of magic drains the lives of the people who are using the magic, which is a little bit like Wheel of Time. So I just like the sound of the magic system more than anything, and I am a sucker for a good, strong, hard magic system, so I would like to read this and form my own opinion, basically. And then a book that I have heard nothing but good things about is The Ninth Reign by Jen Williams. This one I heard about originally from Elle, from the channel Elliot Brooks, and then my friend Joanna from the channel Joanna Sosa has completed the whole trilogy, I believe. Joanna, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but it sounds really good and interesting. I don't know too much about it. I kind of don't want to. All I know is it's really unique and a little bit dark and slightly vampire-esque. And once again, I managed to get the audiobook in a sale on Audible at the end of last year, So again, it's epic fantasy, so I like to have the option of immersion reading, so I decided to pick it up and I'm very excited to read it. Then a book that I am slightly, this time I will say, nervous, apprehensive to read, but one that I've heard so much about, and I'm just so curious about the book, the story, the way that it's written, and that is House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski, which is a horror book, which is where the anxiety comes in, I suppose, because I am a wimp. And this is supposedly very, very scary, but it's also written in a multimedia style format. I've heard many, many things about this book, and I really just want to see for myself what it's like. Mostly it's the multimedia nature of the book that attracts me. This is going to be a bit of an undertaking for me to read for a number of reasons. I mean, it's an undertaking for most people because there are bits that you have to turn the book upside down and you have to flip back and forth and all that sort of thing. But also, I usually do all of my reading at least with some audio, and there is no audiobook for this. Well, there is on YouTube an audiobook for this, but from everything I've heard, it's not really a good way to go about reading this one. So I'm going to have to commit myself to read this at some point when I have some time and when I have the inclination. But I wanted to have it on hand so that when that moment strikes, I can dive in. And I don't really know what it's about other than a house. We'll see. We'll see if I read this, hopefully this year. Let's see how it goes. Maybe I'll vlog that experience. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. Then we have Light from Uncommon Stars by Rika Aoki, which was one of my most anticipated releases for last year. I finally have it. I'm very excited. It is kind of contemporary sci-fi, I suppose. It sort of reminds me, the synopsis, I haven't read it yet, but the synopsis reminds me of The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, which is one of my favourite books. So a little bit slice of life-y. The cover is lovely, and it follows Shizuka, who's made a deal with the devil. To escape damnation, she must entice 7 other violin prodigies to trade their souls for success. She's delivered 6. When Katrina Nguyen, a young transgender runaway, catches Shizuku's ear with her wild talent, Shizuka can almost feel the curse lifting. She's found her final candidate. But in a donut shop off a bustling highway in the San Gabriel Valley, Shizuka meets Lan Tran, a retired starship captain, interstellar refugee and mother of 4. Shizuka doesn't have time for crushes or coffee dates, what with her very soul on the line, but Lan's kind smile and eyes like stars might just redefine a soul's worth, and maybe something as small as a warm donut is powerful enough to break a curse as vast as the California coastline. Which just sounds adorable. Rereading that synopsis has just made me want to read it all the sooner, so I probably will read this month, I hope. Next is The Kindred by Alicia Dow. This is her second book. Her first book, The Sound of Stars, was one of my favourites in 2020, and this is her most recent release, which was one of my most anticipated for this year, and it's out at the beginning of the year, which is very, very exciting. I'm very happy to have this. It once again is sci-fi. I'll just read you the little passage at the top of the synopsis. Sorry if you can hear the cats whining for their dinner. They do this for about an hour to an hour and a half every evening, so not much I can do about it, sorry. To save a galactic kingdom from a revolution, kindred mind pairings were created to ensure each and every person would be seen and heard, no matter how rich or poor. So it's got a very similar vibe to this, I think, but it also reminds me a little bit of Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell, and again, super excited to read this one, and I hope to do so very, very soon. If not this month, then very early next month. And finally, the two very exciting books. So I'll tell you a little story before I show you them. I got home from work a couple of Fridays ago to find a couple of packages in my entrance lobby, and I thought to myself, I haven't ordered anything. So I opened them up, and I had been sent not one but two finished early copies of books by Orbit, the publisher. And to be honest with you, I sat with my mouth hanging open for probably about 10 to 15 minutes. I was that surprised. I'm still surprised. I'm very, very excited. So I'm going to first show you Age of Ash by Daniel Abraham. This one actually comes out today when you're watching this, so you can go and pick this up right now if you want to. It is his return to fantasy. It is the first in a series. I don't know if it's going to be a trilogy or a duology or more books, I don't know, but I do know that each book in the series is going to follow a different character in the same city over the course of this same 1 year. So in this one we follow Alice, who is a petty thief from the slums, and her brother is murdered and she is investigating why, by who, etc. And I'm really looking forward to reading this. Now that it is out, I will be able to get the audiobook, and I will look forward very much so to reading this. And then the second book that was sent to me by Orbit was The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. This is a debut fantasy novel, and fun fact, Richard Swan is actually a commercial litigator, a lawyer in the UK, and I am also a lawyer in the UK. I'm not practicing as a lawyer in the UK right now, I teach, but anyway, we're in the same kind of profession, so that's just a fun fact for me. This one actually comes out on the 24th of February, so this time next week you'll be able to get your hands on this one. And again, this is the first book in a series that follows Sir Conrad von Volt, although he is not our perspective character. His assistant is actually our perspective character, and they are investigating a crime and uncover all sorts of conspiracies and that sort of thing. It sounds super exciting and fun. I'm really looking forward to the legal aspect, particularly because it's written by a lawyer, so I'm really looking forward to reading this. Again, as soon as the audiobook is available, I'll be endeavouring to pick it up. Yes, I know I could just read it physically, but I'm a very slow reader, and I have found in my experience that I enjoy books more if I consume them quickly, as in I don't spend weeks reading them. And the simple fact of the matter is that my physical reading is so slow that the vast majority of books, if I read them physically, I'd end up not enjoying them just because I'm not reading them at a quick enough pace for myself, which that's a whole thing. But anyway, I was very kindly sent both of these by Orbit, so thank you so much again to them. This is the very first time that a publisher has ever sent me anything. I feel so excited by this. I'm really looking forward to reading them, and I will let you know once I have and what I think of them. And that's it. Those are the books that I have acquired most recently. If there are any of these that you're particularly interested in, just in reading yourself, or buddy reading with me, or hearing my thoughts about, then let me know. And that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more like this from me, then do think about hitting that subscribe button, and I hope to see you here again soon. Thanks, bye.